Tonight, News Channel 5 investigates a fascist fight club with tentacles that reach right here in Middle Tennessee.
And extremism experts are now warning these groups are using martial arts to try to recruit new followers.
Young ones, right? As News Channel 5's chief investigative reporter Phil Williams discovered, teen boys have now become their latest targets.
Here at a jiu-jitsu gym in an industrial park near Nashville's Armory Drive, a gym that advertises its family-friendly atmosphere, News Channel 5 investigates had kept watch on the comings and goings of one of the more visible figures in a far-right movement that's raising concerns among those who monitor extremist activity.
My name is Sporty. From Tennessee.
Sporty, as he calls himself in this online video, is Tristan Rettke, a licensed EMT working for a Nashville-area ambulance service. Rettke made headlines 7 years ago while a student at East Tennessee State when he showed up at a Black Lives Matter protest wearing a gorilla suit. Now he's become a player in the so-called active club scene, a sort of fascist fight club.
We're ultra-nationalist, far-right, fascist, you know. I mean, I'll lean a little bit into these terms, you know.
That movement is headed by this man, Robert Rendo, a white nationalist who was featured in a recent 60 Minutes segment, has tried to recast the movement as being about young white men getting fit.
I'm thinking about creating a right-wing podcast that names the Jew.
But behind that image is this image of Rundle violently assaulting a Trump protester at a California rally in 2017. Rundle spent 24 months in federal prison, according to the DOJ, for planning and engaging in riots at political rallies across California. The Active Club founder has called organized fights like these a, quote, tip-off point for a fascist cultural revolution. He added, every victorious nationalist movement was forged by hardened men who already tasted real danger.
This is not just a national sports club or nationalist sports club. In its essence, it's the strategy to build a neo-Nazi militia.
Alexander Ritzman, a senior advisor with a counter-extremism project, has been studying the Active Club movement for years. He says that in their propaganda, Rendo and his followers liken themselves to Italy's fascist militia known as the Black Shirts, or to Adolf Hitler's stormtroopers. So if this is a militia hiding in plain sight, what is the battle they're preparing for?
They say we are preparing for the time when a white supremacist leader is worth and in need of protection.
Are you ready?
Here in one of their hype videos, Rettke is shown entering a fight in Texas, escorted by Sean Kaufman, head of the Tennessee Active Club. Kaufman has been described by the Stop Anti-Semitism watchdog group as a disturbed neo-Nazi and Holocaust denier with a documented history of violence and a massive cache of firearms. Kaufman is now sitting in jail awaiting trial on a domestic violence charge. His bond revoked after shooting a bird at News Channel 5's camera in open court. And here Rettke can be seen competing earlier this year in what was called a Spring Brawl, an event that critics say is designed to prepare men for battle on the streets of America. A group photo from that event, which disguised the faces of those who did not want to be identified, shows someone holding up a flag for a violent neo-Nazi group known as the Hammerskins.
They aren't just exhibitions. They are physically training, as we do in the military, to be able to, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, cause physical harm to another human being.
Christopher Goldsmith heads a nonprofit known as Task Force Butler that trains veterans to infiltrate groups that they fear might pose a threat to American democracy.
It is far, far, far easier for a white supremacist to go and to punch someone in the face, to hit someone with a baseball bat, if they've spent a few months punching their friend in the face for practice.
And the active clubs have begun in recent years working with another white nationalist group. Patriot Front wants to turn America into an ethno-state for white people only. Here, Rettke poses with Patriot Front leader Thomas Rousseau. And these are scenes from a training facility that the group runs in East Tennessee near Tellico Plains. It's operated by Patriot Front recruiter Ian Michael Elliott. Photos posted by the group show Rettke was there for the facility's grand opening. So after unsuccessfully trying to reach him by phone and email...
Hey, Tristan. Phil Williams with News Channel 5. Did you get my message?
Not interested.
We caught up with him outside the gym where we had previously spotted him, hoping to get some idea of his personal motivations.
What are you guys fighting for?
Sorry, man, I'm not answering that question.
Robert Rendo says this is part of a fascist cultural revolution. Are you a fascist? Do you hate democracy?
Sorry, man, not answering any questions.
But it's that focus on combat sports and physical fitness that experts say makes gyms like this one prime targets for recruiting activities. In fact, photos posted online show that Patriot Front recruiter Ian Michael Elliott has worked out in this very facility. The concern is such activities could disguise much more sinister motives.
After a recent stabbing incident in Belfast involving a Sudanese refugee, mobs of masked white men took to the streets, attacking innocent immigrants, burning immigrant businesses, and torching some of their homes. Online, Robert Rendo's group celebrated the riots, with one post declaring, "White boy summer is starting off hot this year." Another recited the white nationalist slogan, "By God, we'll have our home again." Another, "Tomorrow belongs to us." His group even published a post about the OPSEC, operational security, that helped the Northern Ireland mob to avoid arrest. The how-to post carried a disclaimer for educational purposes only. And what worries observers even more is that the active clubs are now making a deliberate effort to target teens. The young man in this fight, now an adult, is someone we met 3 years ago at a candidates forum in Franklin, Tennessee. He later sent me this photo showing off his swastika tattoo to taunt me.
What is the danger in allowing these people to work out in your gym?
Recruitment. The main aspect would definitely be recruitment.
And that's why experts say this movement should be viewed as more than just white guys who want to have fun.
And to be clear, there is no evidence that Tristan Rettke himself has done anything illegal. Still, this movement draws plenty of people with questionable histories, including criminal histories. And it turns out that the Nashville gym you saw in that video just recently changed ownership. Tonight, the new owner tells me that Tristan Rettke is now banned from his facility. That new owner told me, quote, "We're inclusive and we've got every color under the rainbow and every one of them is my brother. There's one tribe and there's one tribe under God." He added, "Things like that don't fly anymore."
Phil, as a mom to a teenager and a tween, I think we have to underscore here that these groups are targeting teenagers, kids who are just looking to belong somewhere, and mostly white teens.
That's right. It's become an increasing focus. They typically operate under names like Active Club Youth or Active Youth Clubs, which again sounds like something parents these days might support, getting kids off the sofa and active. But the agenda is they want to get into the heads of these boys and teach them to hate.
They're so impressionable.
Absolutely.
Right. Thanks, Phil. Reminder, this is part of Phil's ongoing Confronting Hate investigation. You can find his other stories by going to newschannel5.com/hate.